Hey everybody, this video was inspired by Bro1997's video that he showed off his shark movie merchandise and book collection. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So in anticipation for my Shark Week 3 Beyond the Species, which starts August 8th and ends August 13th, I thought I'd go over all my shark books that I have. This includes shark books that aren't just about sharks, shark books that are just about sharks, and shark books that are verses or crossovers or anything. So yeah, let us begin. The first one I have, and this is in alphabetical order, is Extinct. I have not read it yet, but apparently this was supposed to be a movie. Never came to fruition, I guess. But I'm dying to read this book. I've been looking at it ever since I was a kid. I bought this one. It's in very good condition. I love it. Next up, I have Hotel Megalodon. I have read this. I actually reviewed it last year, I believe. And this is an awesome book. I really hope that there's a sequel. I can't wait if there is, because I'm waiting on news every day. Like, can there be a sequel to Hotel Megalodon? Come on, Rick Chesler. Third book I got was Hunger. Now, this is like a shark and dolphin hybrid, kind of like Creature from 1998. But that was based off a white shark, and that had kind of a similar premise. But this was handled very well. I love this book. Next up we have the classic, Jaws. And I read this about 4 times, and it gets a little different each time. Like, I don't always remember everything about it, but it's still a very entertaining book. Next up I have Jaws 2. Now this was like The Godfather and Mafia related stuff meets shark movies or stories. This was a lot more violent, and I have Jaws the Revenge, also by Hank Searles, who wrote Jaws 2. This is much better than the movie, I have to say. Next up, I have not read this one yet, but that is Kraken vs. Megalodon. I really want to read this. Oh yeah, I've read all the Megalodon books by Eric S. Brown. I want to read the Kraken books first, and then have Kraken vs. Megalodon be the final thing. Next up we have the sequel to my favorite book of all time. This is not mainly about sharks, but it has a shark in it. That is Kronos Rising Kraken. This was excellent. Not as good as the first, but damn it, this book is awesome. It's so close to being as good as the first, it's not even funny. It just is not, but I still love it. Next up I have Meg. I've read this book like 3 times, maybe twice, I'm not sure, I'll have to look back. And this has the prequel Meg Origins in it. Definitely my favorite Meg book of all. This will be featured in my Shark Week 3 Beyond the Species, along with Kronos Rising Kraken. They're both going to be reviewed. Next up I have The Trench. A very solid sequel. Not as good as the first, but very close. This is also going to be featured in my Shark Week 3. Then I have Meg, Primal Waters. This is probably the most entertaining and dumb Meg book, but I love it because it knows what it is at this point. It's not trying to be as big as the first 2, but it's still a very solid story. This is also going to be featured in my Shark Week 3. Then I have Meg, Hell's Aquarium. I don't know what happened there, but this is probably my least favorite of the Meg series so far, but it is still an awesome book. I'm currently reading, this is also going to be Shark Week 3, Meg, Night Stalkers. I am here on the book, almost done. This is the last thing I have to review for my Shark Week 3. I can't wait to finish reading this. I'm probably going to finish it by tomorrow. And then I have Megalodon by Robin Brown. This is an older book. I wish to have it. I was hoping to get the paperback, because the cover is a lot more cool, but I'm happy to have this. It's a very old book from, I believe, the 1980s? 1981. Cool, and I got this slip. I look at 2. Then I have Megalodon by Eric S. Brown. This was a very quick novel. It's only less than 100 pages, but it's still very fun, and a lot of action and bloodshed is in this book. Then I have Megalodons, following the Alien and Aliens tradition, huh? It's a little bit longer, it's over 100 pages, but it's still a solid novel. Now, I might have to reread this one, because I was reading it really fast, because I had to read Chronos Rising Kraken at the time. And this is the shortest one, like 77 pages or so. And it's probably my least favorite, or it could be my favorite. I just have to reread it. Next up I have Megalodon Rising by Alex Laybourne. I have not read this yet. I want to soon. I've heard mixed things about this, but the cover is awesome. And I'm just looking forward to reading it. Next up I have Ocean's Hammer. It's about a hammerhead shark. I really got to start reading more of Severed Press's books because they release some good stuff. And this looks awesome. Next up I have Project Megalodon. Again by Alex Laybourne. I have not read this yet, but it does look pretty cool. This is probably the second shark book I've ever read, Riptide. This was a pretty bad book, but it was entertaining, so I gave it a decent rating. I reviewed this a while ago. Next up, I am pretty sure this is a shark. Not 100% sure, though. That is Sawfish by Rick Chesler. He also wrote Hotel Megalodon, and I want to get more of his books. But this is a long one. I've heard really good things about it. I love the cover so much. I always look at the cover and make this is an awesome looking book. Next up, I have reviewed this already. That is Sharkano. Ridiculous book. It's a long book, too. I want to see a sequel. It's not the best shark book ever, but it's definitely highly entertaining. And you feel like no one can be safe. Next up, I have Slimer. You might be wondering, why is this in the list? Because the creature's main ingredient, I want to call it, because I'm not big on science, is a great white shark. This is a very good book. It was made into a film called Proteus, which has awesome special effects. This is my newest edition, and it might even be a kid's book, but I grew up with this book all the time. It is Tales of the Great White. I love this cover. I always wanted to read this as a kid. I never could understand what was going on, so I might have to check it out again. It is very short, only 80-something pages, but it's probably a kid's book, but I don't care. Because some of the images in this book are quite creepy, like, find it. This one. That is weird. Next up I have Terror at Sea. This is basically about the U.S. Indianapolis. And last but not least, this is going to be reviewed in my Shark Week 3 as well, is White Shark by Peter Benchley. Now this is a book. I think it's his best book in my opinion. It's better than Jaws, only slightly better than The Beast, and I love it. But oh wait, there is possibly one more, and I just saw it over here. They Rise. So yeah. Alright, that's it. Lion Brain Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and leave comments and subscribe.